I want you to look very closely at Mark. He is standing on a crowded rooftop bar in Austin. He holds a glass of expensive champagne in his hand. Mark just earned a massive promotion to senior manager. His salary just jumped to $120,000. He feels like he finally conquered the American dream. Now, look at Mark again exactly 6 months later. He is sitting silently inside his brand new Tesla car. His hands are shaking over a digital credit card statement. The dream has officially become a very tight cage. Most people believe that a promotion is a victory. They see a gross salary jump from $90,000 to $120,000 and imagine a life of luxury. They assume a 33% increase in pay translates to a 33% increase in wealth. The truth is much colder and far more calculated. A raise is often a mathematical illusion designed to keep you in the office longer. Everyone thinks Thang Ti letter 1 EBFN is the goal, but the reality is that your boss just handed you a bigger shovel to dig a deeper financial hole. Let's look at the literal cost of Mark's new title in Austin. In the United States, we live under a progressive tax system. When Mark crossed that $100,000 threshold, he pushed more of his income into the 24% federal tax bracket. After Social Security, Medicare, and Texas cost of living adjustments, that $30,000 raise shrinks instantly. He isn't taking home $30,000. He is actually taking home closer to $18,000 after all deductions. That breaks down to roughly $1,500 extra per month. But wait, here is where it gets interesting. While his take-home pay grew by $1,500, his psychological ceiling for spending vanished. This is the mindset trap that most high earners fall into. You feel like a senior manager now, so you stop shopping at discount stores. You move from the one-bedroom apartment to the luxury high-rise. You justify the $800 Tesla lease because you earned it. You are spending against the gross number of $120,000, while your bank account only sees the net increase. But the real secret is the hidden social tax of a promotion. Mark is now surrounded by other senior managers who maintain a specific image. They wear $300 boots and spend $150 on Thursday night dinners. The pressure to fit into this new peer group is a tax the IRS doesn't collect, but your savings account definitely pays. Have you ever noticed how the more people earn, the more stressed they seem about their bills? This is because they aren't buying assets. They are buying an entry ticket into a more expensive social circle. Let's apply the reverse math to Mark's Austin lifestyle. Before the raise, he saved $2,000 every month. Now his new rent is $1,000 higher. His luxury car lease and insurance add another $1,000 in monthly overhead. His social spending has increased by $500. Do you see the problem? His expenses increased by $2,500, but his take-home pay only went up by $1,500. Mark is now saving $1,000 less per month than he was when he earned a smaller salary. He is working more hours and carrying more responsibility, yet his net worth is growing slower than before. He has traded his future financial freedom for a badge of status that requires every cent he earns to maintain. This is the reality of the promotion trap. Your raise didn't make you richer. It simply increased the cost of your existence. You are now a high-income individual with a low-income future. You aren't winning the game. You are just playing a much more expensive version of it. Mark's new life began with a signature on a luxury lease for a glass-walled condo in North Austin, steps from the domain. He moved from a quiet, functional apartment where rent was $1,800 to a vibrant hub costing $2,800. He justified the $1,000 jump as an investment in his professional network and his mental health. But the base rent was just the entry fee to a much larger ecosystem of consumption. In high-growth American cities like Austin, luxury buildings have mastered the art of the hidden fee that drains your account before you even buy furniture. Mark now pays $25 monthly for valet trash he doesn't need and $60 for a mandatory technology package that covers basic internet. Most significantly, he pays $150 every month just for the right to park his vehicle in his own building. But wait, the math gets even darker when you look under the hood of his newest possession. The Tesla Model 3 looked like a symbol of the future when he picked it up from the showroom. Mark saw the $800 monthly payment and thought it was a fair price for a senior manager's status. However, he made the mistake most people make in their 30s. He calculated the monthly payment, but ignored the total cost of ownership. Insuring a high-performance electric vehicle in a high-traffic city like Texas costs Mark $280 a month. That is over $3,000 a year just for the legal permission to drive his trophy. Here is where it gets interesting. Because Mark lives in a luxury condo, he discovered that charging isn't as simple as plugging into a wall. His building doesn't offer free charging in every stall. He often has to use the local supercharger network or pay premium rates at the building's public level 2 stations. These convenience charges add another $90 to his monthly overhead. He also spent $1,500 on specialized ceramic coating to protect the paint and another $400 on high-end all-weather floor mats. These are the hidden multipliers that turn a sleek car into a debt delivery system. Mark didn't just buy a car. He bought an ongoing subscription to a lifestyle he can barely afford. Now, look at the social tax of Mark's Thang Ti Letter 1 Ni BFN as a senior manager. His peers no longer eat the lunch they brought from home in Tupperware. At least 3 times a week, Mark joins his colleagues at the upscale bistro across from their office. A simple kale salad and a sparkling water cost $26 after tax and the expected 20% Austin tip. This habit alone costs him over $300 a month. He isn't buying food. He is buying the right to belong to a group that views saving money as a sign of weakness. Every lunch is a tiny, expensive brick in the wall of his new cage. But the real secret is the mental energy Mark now spends on maintenance. Every Saturday morning, he isn't relaxing or learning a new skill. He is at the professional car wash because a Tesla with a layer of Texas dust feels like a failure. He is coordinating with his HOA about a small scratch someone left on his door in the cramped parking garage. He is researching the next software update and worrying about the resale value of his battery. These objects don't just sit in his life. They occupy a permanent slice of his attention. Mark's stuff is literally paying rent in his brain every single day. What happened next is the most painful part of the calculation. When you add up the rent increase, the parking, the insurance, the charging, and the social dining, Mark's monthly burn has increased by nearly $3,000. Remember the math from earlier? His take-home pay only went up by $1,500. Mark is actually $1,500 deeper in the hole every single month than he was before his success. He is earning more money than 85% of the country, yet he is living paycheck to paycheck for the first time in his life. Mark thinks he owns these things. He believes the leather seats and the floor-to-ceiling windows are the rewards for his late nights and stressful meetings. But the logic of the promotion trap reveals a different truth. These objects are actually instruments of imprisonment. Mark cannot quit his job tomorrow. He cannot take a 6-month sabbatical to travel. He cannot even consider a lower-paying role at a startup he actually believes in. He is trapped by the very things he bought to celebrate his freedom. He has become the pavement princess of his own life, shiny, expensive, and completely stuck. Now, I want you to look at a different kind of imprisonment. Meet Sarah, a 40-year-old creative director living in a high-rise in Manhattan. Sarah earns $180,000 per year, a salary that sounds like the ultimate goal to most of the world. Her apartment features floor-to-ceiling windows with a perfect view of the Chrysler Building. It costs her $6,500 every single month. Inside, you will find a minimalist Eames chair that costs $6,000 and a designer kitchen that has never seen a home-cooked meal. Sarah believes she has reached the top of her industry, but her bank account tells a very different story. This is where the lifestyle multiplier becomes a weaponized force in Sarah's life. In New York City, your title dictates your overhead before you even step out of your door. Sarah pays $200 every month for professional dry cleaning because her designer suits require specialized care. Her membership at an elite Equinox gym costs $250 monthly. She spends $400 a month on networking drinks that consist of $20 cocktails in hotel lobbies. Sarah is not buying experiences. She is buying the right to remain in her social tier. How can someone earning nearly $200,000 feel so financially desperate? Let's compare the two versions of Sarah's life: possession versus freedom. Possession looks like a mahogany desk in a corner office and a closet full of Italian leather. It feels like a heavy weight that requires constant maintenance and a high-stress job to fuel the fire. Freedom looks like a modest savings account and the ability to say no to a toxic environment. Freedom feels like light air because you don't owe your future to a landlord or a luxury brand. Sarah has chosen possession, and now she is realizing that her mahogany desk is actually the anchor of her own gilded cage. Everything changed for Sarah last month when she received a phone call from her hometown in Ohio. Her mother had fallen ill and required 3 months of intensive home care. Sarah's first instinct was to pack a bag and move back to Ohio to be a daughter again. But then, she opened her laptop and looked at her monthly burn rate. Her NYC lifestyle requires exactly $15,000 every month just to exist. To take 3 months off, Sarah would need $45,000 in liquid cash just to keep her apartment and insurance active. She looked at her savings and found less than $5,000. The realization was a cold shock to her system. Sarah earns more than 95% of Americans, yet she is too poor to take care of her own mother. Her wealth is entirely locked up in physical objects and high-status liabilities. She has a $6,000 chair but cannot afford a plane ticket and 3 months of lost income. She discovered that her promotion wasn't a reward for her talent. It was a contract that traded her family for her furniture. Sarah doesn't work for a creative agency anymore. She works for her NYC zip code. She is trapped in a cycle of high-income poverty where the more she earns, the less she is allowed to leave. Her mother is waiting in Ohio, but Sarah is stuck in Manhattan, staring at the Chrysler building through windows she can't afford to walk away from. She realized that she hasn't built a life. She has built a museum of her own professional ego. Sarah has the title, the view, and the clothes, but she has zero optionality. She has sold her soul for a corner office, and the price was her ability to be present for the people who actually matter. But the real trap isn't the rent. Escaping the promotion trap requires more than just willpower. It requires a system that removes your ability to make bad decisions in the heat of a celebratory moment. You must build a financial firewall before the first direct deposit of your new salary ever arrives in your checking account. Here are the minimalist money rules for high earners who actually want to stay free. These rules aren't about denying yourself pleasure. They are about ensuring that your success doesn't become your greatest liability. The first rule is to predefine enough before the promotion even happens. Most people let their lifestyle goals move every time their income increases. This is a race you can never win because the finish line is always 5 miles ahead. You must decide today exactly what kind of home, car, and wardrobe constitutes a satisfied life. If you decide that a $40,000 vehicle is enough, then a $100,000 raise should not change that decision. By setting a fixed finish line for your standard of living, every dollar earned above that line becomes a tool for freedom. Minimalists earn toward a specific target, while everyone else earns toward an endless, exhausting horizon of more. The second rule is practicing tax invisibility through total automation. You cannot spend money that you never actually see. The moment your HR department processes your raise, you should divert the entire net increase into your 401k, a Roth IRA, or a separate brokerage account. If your raise translates to $1,500 a month, set up an automatic transfer for $1,500 on every payday. By making your raise invisible, you force your brain to continue living on your previous salary. This creates a psychological gap where your wealth grows silently in the background while your lifestyle remains stable. You are effectively paying your future self first before the high-end restaurants or luxury retailers can get their hands on your hard-earned cash. Now listen carefully, because the third rule is the hardest to follow. It is called the 1-year freeze. When you receive a major promotion, you must commit to making 0 major lifestyle changes for exactly 12 months. No new luxury leases, no new car notes, and no high-end furniture upgrades. This year-long waiting period allows the initial status high of the promotion to wear off. It gives you time to see the actual net impact of your new tax bracket and your increased professional responsibilities. Most people spend the money before they have even finished their first week in the new role. The 1-year freeze ensures that you are actually earning the money before you commit to the ongoing costs of owning more things. But wait, there is a deeper layer to this strategy. The fourth rule is to calculate the net liberty for every potential upgrade you consider. Instead of looking at the monthly payment, look at how much time it costs you to maintain that item. If a luxury car lease requires you to work an extra 10 hours every single week just to cover the insurance, fuel, and payments, is it worth the trade? Minimalists understand that every possession you add to your life is a tiny thread that ties you to your desk. Every time you say no to an unnecessary upgrade, you are saying yes to a future where you can quit your job, start a business, or travel without financial fear. Here is where it gets interesting. When you apply these commandments, you create a financial margin that most high earners never experience. You start to see your income not as a permission slip to consume, but as a fuel for your independence. This margin is the only thing that provides true security in an unpredictable economy. When you follow these rules, a raise finally does what it was originally supposed to do. It buys your time back. It gives you the power to walk away from toxic environments. It turns your high income status into actual liquid wealth that you can use to build a life of meaning. You are no longer like Mark or Sarah, burdened by the heavy weight of your own professional success. You are the architect of a life that you actually own from the inside out. By defining your standard of living and automating your growth, you escape the treadmill entirely. You move from the cycle of accumulation to the cycle of optionality. This is the only honest measure of success in the modern world. You don't need the shiny trophies to prove you've made it because your bank account and your peace of mind already tell the story you want to hear. Mark is still sitting in that Tesla under the Austin skyline. The glass windows of his luxury condo look down on him like a silent judge. He realizes that the $120,000 didn't buy a better life. It bought a set of rigid rules he never actually agreed to follow. He must work 60 hours to maintain the image of his new title. He must attend the bistro lunches and pay the high-end insurance premiums. Mark is realizing that his promotion was actually a very expensive trade. He traded his quiet confidence for a loud, shiny, and permanent anxiety. This is the moment of truth most high earners avoid until it is too late. True wealth is not measured by the leather in your car or your title. It is measured by optionality, the only currency that truly matters in 2026. Optionality is the ability to quit a toxic job without checking your bank balance. It is the ability to move to Ohio for a sick parent without hesitation. Sarah had the designer furniture, but she didn't have the wealth of time. When you accumulate possessions, you decrease your ability to make free choices. Are you working to live or working to maintain things that live in your house? Now, here is what nobody tells you about the relationship between success and freedom. You have a choice every time your income increases in this country. You can be Mark, trapped in a condo with a high-income poverty mindset. Or you can be the deliberate architect of your own personal freedom. Minimalism for the high earner is not about owning nothing at all. It is about ensuring that absolutely nothing in your life owns you. When you stop buying status, you finally start buying your time back. Time is the only asset that never depreciates and cannot be replaced. Look at that Austin rooftop bar one last time as the celebration ends. Mark can choose the shiny trophy or he can choose the peace of mind. He can be a senior manager in a cage or a free man with an invincible bank account. Remember this the very next time you are offered a massive raise. A promotion should buy your freedom, not your cage.